بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Inshallah, we begin a new chapter, inshallah, in our series of common mistakes that are widespread among the Muslims. And this chapter is talking about business transactions. We have previously covered mistakes and related to acts of worship, and we completed the chapter of Hajj in our last session. And so now, inshallah, we begin with transactions. And the first thing is business transactions. The first thing the Sheikh mentions in the book is that what's common between Muslims, unfortunately, and this is either due to a lack of knowledge in the rules of the Sharia, or they take the rules of the Sharia lightly. So some people, when it comes to selling what a person does not possess without authorization from the owner, بَيْعْ مَا لَا تَمْلِكْ, they're selling something that you don't possess without authorization from the owner. This is not permissible. Hakim ibn Hizam radiyallahu anhu said, أتيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقلت يأتيني الرجل يسألني من البيع ما ليس عندي أبتاع له من السوق ثم أبيعه قال لا تبع ما ليس عندك. The messenger, Hakim ibn Hizam radiyallahu anhu, he said, I came to the messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and said, a man may come to me wanting to buy something that I do not possess. Should I buy it for him from the marketplace, then sell it to him? He said, do not sell that which you do not possess. The scholars have said the meaning of that which you do not possess means that which you do not own. There is a similar hadith from Amr ibn Shu'aib, narrated from his father by way of his grandfather, that he said, the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يحل سلف وبيع ولا شرطان في بيع ولا ربح ما لم يضمن ولا بيع ما ليس عندك. It is not lawful to lend or sell at the same time. It is not lawful to lend and sell at the same time, nor two conditions in a sale, nor to profit from what is not possessed, nor to sell what one does not have. Okay? And if we're going to get into the details of things, many examples of that. Many examples of that. In common day practice. For example, who can give me an example? Everyone should know this. That's one thing. That's one thing. We'll get to that, inshallah. That's the one I was looking for. Okay, so what they call drop shipping. So what a person does, there are factories in China that sell products. So a person sets up like a website or on some marketplace platforms, and he sells a product. And the customer sees this product being advertised, and he buys it from this person thinking that he owns this product. And so he sells the product. He has a list of items. He sells it. But what he does, he just really acts as an agent for the supplier in China. So he contacts the supplier in China that I need this item, this quantity, and send it to this address. So the customer pays, for example, me, and then I pay the company in China. And so I didn't even see the product. The product goes directly from the company in China direct to the person. I know a brother who used to do this. He used to sell camping equipment. And this brother, he's got nothing to do with camping. And he said, and the strange thing is, most of the customers are in America. So like I'm selling all these products to customers from America that I don't know, I don't see the product. It just goes directly from the factory in China or to the company, whatever that provides the product, and directly to China. And so he sells, for example, the product costs $10, sells it for $15. Okay, so he makes $5 without. All he does is sort of markets it. So this could be problematic. This could be problematic because you don't possess the item. Now let's say, for example, I went and I bought, let's say, tents, camping tents. Bought 100 of them from China and they cost $10 each. And when I sold them for $20, am I allowed to do that? Yes, because I brought them and then I can sell them. Now this drop shipping, how does it work? And why would the Sharia not allow it? Why would the Sharia not allow it? You don't physically have it, and there's no guarantee. You know, like for example, I see a bird in the tree. I say, I'll see you that bird in the tree. He says, yeah, here's the money. Is that bird in the tree guaranteed? Huh? No, because it could fly off and maybe I can never get it. Or I sell fish in the sea. See that fish that just swam there? I'll sell that to you. Here. And then maybe I can't get it. Then someone may say, well, if he can't get it, then he just returns the money. But you have caused sometimes, these are simple examples, but sometimes they can cause great hardship. As well, these items that you don't see, you don't really know what they are. Correct or not? Maybe the customer gets it and he has a particular, how many times have we done that with the online shopping, yeah? You go and you buy something and you think it's something, and then when it comes, it's not what you expected. Either it's not the right size, or it's not the right quality, or anything like that. And then what do you say? It's okay, I can just return it. I get my money back. And they say, return. If you're not happy with it, return, we give you your money back. But sometimes you don't return it. Why? The headache, the time is wasted, and the postage. Sometimes the postage costs more than the item itself. Or it's not worth it. Maybe it's not. Maybe the postage, let's say it's $15 and the product's worth $50, but you're losing money. So this type of online sales is problematic. There is one thing that could make it allowed, which what the scholars they call bay' al-wasf. Bay' al-wasf. That you sell something according to a stipulated specification, that it's described in exact detail. Okay, and we do this bay' al-wasf for many things. For example, I want to build a house. I own a piece of land. I want to build a house. Okay, what do? I go to the architect to design the house and the engineer, whatever, get all the approvals from the council and so on. And then what do? Can I build the house myself? Do I know how to build a house? No. What do? I get a builder. I get the plans to a builder. I go, builder, these are the plans. How much would you charge me to build this house? He looks at the plans and assesses it and whatever, and he sees the products and the materials, the bricks and the concrete and the timber and everything that we'll need. And then he comes and tells me this house is going to cost you X amount of money to build. I say, okay. So I agree on a price for something based on this description. He builds me the house according, exactly 100% according to the plans. Correct or not? Is he entitled to his money? Yes. So how have I paid him for something that doesn't exist? I've paid him for a house, doesn't exist. Is this allowed or not? It's allowed. Why? Because bay' al-wasf. Because I have bought something that's being described in every aspect. Even the quality of the bricks, even the quality of the timber, even the quality of the fittings, the kitchen and the bathroom, there's different qualities. You choose what you want, correct or not? And you say, I want this quality and this type and this type and this type and this type. You put every possibility, every possible description, you describe exactly. If he doesn't fulfill it, then he's falling short, and then you can demand that he has to fix it or whatever. Okay? If he builds it according to the specification, he's entitled to his money. If he doesn't build it according to the specification, then he has fallen short, and then he can be compensated, or he has to correct what he hasn't done correctly. Okay, so this bay' al-wasf. So now, if you buy something online that's described fully in terms of its dimensions and its style and its kadha and its material and whatever, and it's something that it's described in a way that can't be deceived in, and you know what you're buying, then Allahu A'lam, that could be allowed. Like when we do online shopping, whatever, but anyway, when we do online shopping, we're buying directly from the, and that's why even if the product isn't available, they say it's not available, correct? That's okay. But like things that are, that's why really, the people doing drop shipping, sometimes what they do is that they make it out as if they are the supplier, because everyone wants to buy from the supplier to get a good deal. But in reality, what they are agents. So if you say, I am an agent, I can, I know the market, I know where I can get this product for you, and I can get it for this price. Are you happy with me getting that price? And the person knows your agent, so he knows that what? You don't own it, and that you are making a profit for your services. Some people are happy, I can't be bothered going and searching and whatever, just get me this. And if that is done, then this is allowed, because this is an agent. You're paying an agent, and you know that he doesn't own it, or he doesn't own it. So he will go and source it for you and provide it for you. That's different. For these type of things, they're problematic, and sometimes, as I said, they do cause problems when things are not described fully. Okay, and sometimes it's described but not described fully. It's made of this material, for example, especially when it comes to clothing. It's made of this material, and you think that this material could be, for example, a woman's dress, for example. Sometimes the material is a light material, and they say it's made of light material. But sometimes this material could be see-through, and it's material that you can't wear it by itself. You have to wear sort of clothing underneath it. Now this is different when you buy a dress that's concealed, and when you buy a dress that's not fully concealed, it's see-through, transparent, because it's so thin you can see through it. You have to wear something underneath. It's a different consideration now. So if it's not described in the full extent, then it can be deceptive. So generally, when it comes to business sales, one of the main rules of the Sharia is that it's not deceptive. It's not deceptive. Two main rules of the Sharia, that it's not what's called al-gharar, which is deception, and al-jahala, which is unknowing. Okay, and they're related, because if you're buying something you don't know, it's a form of deception. And something can't be a dhulm. There's another major principle when it comes to these. All the rules of when it comes to business fall under these. That can't be a dhulm. Like, for example, riba. Okay, so you loan someone money and you pay him back more than. So this is dhulm, this is oppression, not fair. You're taking advantage of people's need, because no one takes a loan unless what? Unless they need it. So because that person is in need, you take advantage of his need, and you sort of make money from a person's need. And that's a form of oppression. A person who's in need, instead of you helping him, you're taking advantage of him. Anyway, so these type of things, they are, a lot of people, either they don't know the ruling or they're very lax in it, and that's why they fall into a lot of problems. Okay, so we have to be aware of this. Do not sell that which you do not possess. And so what's better is that you buy direct from the supplier, or you buy something that's tangible. You go to a shop and you see the product, and you see its size, you see its material, you feel it, you touch it, you see it. Okay, so that you know exactly what you're buying. So the other narration says, لا يحل سلف وبيع. Okay, salafun wa bay' is loan and buying at the same time. Now this, as the brother mentioned earlier, this as well is quite problematic, especially when it comes to what? And taking loans to buy houses. Okay, so it's like a loan and a sale, and they say lease to own. So okay, are you leasing or are you owning? Are you borrowing money or are you selling? So what some of these uh, financial institutions, Islamic financial institutions, they do, they say, okay, you find a house that you want. Okay, so we'll buy the house for you and then you buy the house back off us at a different rate or whatever. So in the end, it turns out to be a higher amount, which is their sort of the way that they make their profits and so on. So ideally, it's okay, but then the devil's in the detail. How do they word the contract? What's the reality of the contract? Are you borrowing from them, or are they buying and selling at the same time? Okay, and if they're, because they wouldn't have normally bought that house. So if someone just buys the house and sells it to you back at a different price and in installments, no problem with that. But they're buying the house. It's like they're loaning you the money. You're buying the house and then you're buying the house back off them. So that's why a lot of these contracts become problematic because of that. Because it's not clear. It's like they're loaning and selling at the same time. So this is as well something, or two conditions in one. Shartani fi bay'in. So two conditions. So that's why, like, even when you go to, for example, buy a car, a lot of these car, what do they call it? The dealers, na'am, the car dealers, if you can't afford to buy the car in cash, they offer you finance. And we know that finance it's haram, it's riba, it has interest. They say, oh, we've got loans, we've got, you can buy on lease. Okay, I'll lease the car. So every month you pay an amount and you use the car. And then when the lease finishes after 5 years or something, then they say you can buy it. You pay an amount and you buy it. So what was the reality of the contract? Am I just leasing the car, like when I go to Hertz or whatever, and I'm just borrowing a car? Or is it in reality? Because as well, when you do this leasing agreement, they transfer the car into your name. That even the regia is in your name and so on. So it becomes sort of a bit grey area. That's why really these things have to be looked into, and not people just take things on face value as it's lease, it's not finance. It could be and it could not be. It could be just a difference in name. And we don't judge things by their name, we judge things by their reality. Okay? And he said, وَلَا رِبْحٌ مَا لَمْ يُضْمَنْ. And profit for something is not guaranteed. Allahu alam, this could be referring to what unfortunately some Muslims have gotten into, is that, and this caused a lot of problems with Muslims in business ventures. So they'll come and say that we've got this venture, this business venture, and we expect that it's going to give 20% returns. And so what do? They collect investment capital from people and they start to pay them the returns even before the project has even got off the ground, even before it started to generate any income, let alone profits. So they start to pay them profits for something that's not even guaranteed. Something hasn't even, and there are many projects like that. So really what they're doing is paying them people profits from from other people's. It's a scam, really. It's like a Ponzi scheme. ولا بيع ما لا عندك, and not to sell that which you don't, what you do not have. And this is something very important, subhanallah, that if we did business like that, we'd be in a much different situation, because you're upon clarity and upon certainty. Doing business from something real, something tangible. Okay? What makes a lot of people fall into trouble is when they do business with things that are non-existent. Okay? As well, you've probably heard of a lot of schemes as well when it comes to this cryptocurrency. Okay, that's the problem as well with the cryptocurrency, because it's not real currency. It's just a currency that people have given value to. People have given value to it. And if these people decide not to give value to it, it becomes worthless. A lot of people have lost a lot of money doing these type of things. Out of hope of making millions, they lose millions. And this is our problem with it, because it's not something backed by something real. And that's why when we look at Islamic trade is something that's based on real items. Either it is real assets or gold and silver. Because gold and silver, which is the basis of currency, because it's something real and it's something that has a universal and global value. And it's something that it's not affected by time. Okay? So I can give you, for example, money from paper currency from 100 years ago. Maybe this country doesn't even exist anymore. So maybe in the time 100 years ago, this paper money had value, but now it doesn't have any value. Only maybe as for a collector or something like that. But it doesn't have real currency in terms of that you're able to deal with it. But gold and silver, I come and I find a buried treasure in my backyard. From Captain Cook. Golden coins. Does that have real currency? Would people want to buy it? Not only as an antiquity, but as real value. If you find gold from Captain Cook, don't tell anyone. Okay, because then the government will take it off you. So just melt it and then you can sell it as just scrap gold and you still get a lot of money out of it. Okay? Alright, so that is the first point. How much time have we got? Play. The second, the second point, inshallah, is selling an unknown product. Selling an unknown product. So again, as I said, the first issue is about selling what you don't own, because there is uncertainty about it, or there is deception in it. The second thing is selling an unknown product, because as well there's uncertainty in it. So for example, and they do this sometimes, they'll get lost luggage in the airport. Have you heard of this before? Or lost items, and they'll have an auction for it. There's this bag, this suitcase was left at the airport. The owner didn't, and we couldn't find the owner or anything like that. So they come and do an auction. You come and you buy it for $5, and the guy had a laptop and he had like $20,000 cash in his, the suitcase is sealed up. You're not allowed to open it. So there are people that go to these auctions and buy it. They might find precious things. They might find useless things, just old clothes or whatever. It's worthless. They just chuck it in the recycling bin, or maybe sell it to an op shop or something. Okay? So buying something that you don't know is what? Is unlawful. So this as well brings us to other things as well. Unfortunately as well, with even some of this is why I said there's widespread ignorance or lack of knowledge when it comes to these things. So for example, some of these Eid shows and so on, they have games. They have games where you come and you throw a dart at a balloon, and if you get this number, it lines up with this prize. Or you come and you pick up a duck. They have all of the pool full of rubber duckies, and you get a net and you pull up one of the rubber duckies and you see the number underneath, and the number lines up with a certain gift. Now you want the big teddy bear, correct or not? Everyone wants that big teddy bear, correct? So they go and they don't get it, they get something else. And a lot of the time they say, no, we have consolation prizes. Everyone wins a prize. What is it? A key ring. I don't want the key ring. So I pay $2, $5, whatever, to have a turn to get the big teddy bear, but I get a key ring instead. So is what I'm paying for, what I'm getting back, known or unknown? Unknown. Could be a big teddy bear, could be a keyring, could be something in between. This is haram. This claw game, put $2 and the claw comes in you, and it comes and it grabs the thing and it drops it. Right? First of all, 99.9% of these games, they're rigged. They're purposely done not to win. They have little tricks. They make you, of all those 100 ducks, there's only one that wins. And that claw, it's made purposely to let go, to release. It's all rigged. It's cheating. But anyway, even if it was real, it's not allowed. Even if it was real, it's not allowed. Because it's not guaranteed. You're paying, because in Islam it has to be clear. What you pay, what you receive. I pay $2, I have to know what I'm getting back. Like the lucky dip prizes. You put $2, you get a lucky dip prize. You don't know what you're going to get. These are not allowed. I want this, for example, red bouncy ball. I get a blue one. I don't want the blue one. Especially the kids. So? And he'll come and cry, and he'll make his dad get another one, and another one, and another one, until he gets the one that he wants. Alright? So that's why we're not allowed to play these chance games, because you're not allowed to buy that which you do not know. These are one of the rules of the Sharia. Okay? Once I tell you a story, one of the brothers, he had his daughter. His daughter was young, maybe less than 5 years old. He was holding her on his arm, And he went to one of these Eid shows, and there was a game where you throw $2 on a board, and it has all numbers and so on, and whatever number it lands on, you get a prize. And the big prize, you throw $2, and the big prize in the middle, right? And there's all these nails or whatever, and you have to get it in between the nails for it to fall onto that number. Okay, so he gave the $2 to his daughter, and she threw it right on the big prize. What was the big prize? $20. $20 bill, cash. She threw it, and she got it. So قدر الله ما شاء فعل. And the guy said, no. You can't take the $20. No, she won it. He goes, look, I give her the big teddy bear. Let her take the big teddy bear, but not the $20. He said, yalla, get the big teddy bear. This is not allowed. So I told you, these people, it's all tricks. He couldn't believe, the guy who runs the show, he couldn't believe that she got the $20 because they rig it. And it had to fall in chances of 1 in a million that it falls in the right way, like sideways and falls like that for it to fit. قدر Allah for that. Allah, one of the little girl, she doesn't know what she's doing, she just throws it. Right, she got it. But it just shows you that these type of unknown games are not allowed. And I advise the brothers, every year I advise them, tell them these games are haram. They say, but you win a prize. Not everyone, it's not like you put money for nothing. You get something, but you don't get what you want. And this goes against the Sharia. No. It depends. If there's a game that there's a benefit from, then okay. Yeah. How if you play the game, but hitting the, for example, when you hit the sledgehammer or the target shooter, you wanna do target shooting or something like that, or maybe with the things, but not to. There has to be a benefit. You know what I mean? That you're playing for that game. To pick up the duckies, what are you benefiting? So you're not playing the game for the sake of the game. But still, it's like, for example, when you go to the arcade and you play Street Fighter or whatever, we used to back in the olden days, right? Car racing, whatever. You're paying money, you're getting something in return. You're getting that game. You're getting a chance to play the game. There's no problem with that. You go and you pay to play bowling, for example. You know what you're getting. But here you're paying for a prize. Your intent is to get the prize. You know what I mean? That's why you played the game. And it's not a game that's for the benefit of the game. Like it's enjoyable to play the game. You know? So like for example, you know, some cereal, you buy cereal and sometimes they give you a prize in the cereal. I don't know. They used to do that before. I don't know if they do that much now. All right? So you're buying the cereal anyway, and then by chance you get a prize. That's okay because you didn't buy the cereal for the prize. You bought the cereal for the cereal. There's no problem. If that comes incidentally and without that, you didn't intently. But if you go and buy 15,000 boxes of cereal so that you can get that prize, it's not allowed. Right? You didn't buy with the intention of the cereal. Anyway, it's like for example, sometimes you go to a shop, you go into that shop anywhere, and they say we have a lucky door prize. If you're the lucky door prize, I didn't go into that shop intently to win that lucky door prize. Okay, there's no problem with that. So selling an unknown product. An example of this is selling something the buyer has not seen or does not comprehend by way of a detailed description. Okay. So if you sell something to someone, he hasn't seen it. Like what I said, that suitcase, he doesn't know what's inside the suitcase. He doesn't know what's in that lucky dip. He doesn't know what's under that. He's buying that rubber duck, he doesn't know what's underneath it. Or it's something that he can't comprehend its description. You say, you know, it's something big and fluffy and like it, or whatever, you describe it, but he can't understand, he can't picture what it is. The sale of an unknown commodity is invalid and impermissible. There are prohibitions for transactions involving selling various types of unknown commodities, such as selling the spoils of war before they have been distributed, and transactions known as mulamash or munabadha, or transactions known as hissa or hassa, determined by throwing a stone. So what they do, you throw a stone, and depending where it lands, that's what product you get. These type of things based on chance, like what I said, these games or someone, these are all gharar, transactions involved with uncertainty. Or habal al-habala, selling the offspring of an unborn offspring. So someone goes, especially when it comes to animals, someone he says that sheep is pregnant, for example. Whatever that sheep gives birth to, I will buy. Sometimes it's twins. Sometimes it's a male sheep. Sometimes female sheep, and their prices are different. Sometimes it gives birth and the sheep dies. He says, khalas, you bought it. He says, no, you know that sheep, when it gives birth, whatever that unborn sheep gives birth to, I will buy. And you think, why would someone do that for? Especially, the breeds, the like horse breeds or whatever, the certain breeds, they're highly sought after. He'll say, come and say to this a champion winning horse, for example, or camel or whatever. And every, even sheep and even dogs or whatever, even though buying dogs is haram, but let's say sheep or camels or horses or cows, they win prizes in the Easter show and sometimes international shows because they are like very well bred. Okay? Or if it's a champion racehorse, for example, wins races, so now the children born from that horse, they're highly sought after. Even though maybe that horse doesn't turn out to be a good horse, but still there's more chances because it's got the genes. So I say that champion horse is pregnant. I'll buy the baby that's born of it. And maybe someone else is what he said, I'll buy the baby of its baby. So, because you can't do that because it's unknown. It's unknown, and there could be oppression, that you buy something and it turns out to be of no value. So this is where the basis of it is. Okay, and fish which are still in the water. You see a fish in the water, see that fish, I'll sell that to you. It's still in the water. I haven't caught it yet. Because you might buy it and you say, well, there's your fish, go and get it. I tried to catch it, it's not there. Right? There are firm prohibitions for all those transactions in the Sunnah. This type of sale is prohibited due to the uncertainty it involves, either uncertainty for the specific production or its description. Selling an unknown product is prohibited, and the prohibition necessitates that the transaction is invalid. Okay. As well, it goes the other way. Not only that the product is unknown, but sometimes selling something with the price that's unknown. And this happens a lot as well. Rahmukallah ya Abdullah. Who has bought something without knowing how much it costs? What's that? Yeah. Or you jump in a taxi. Can you take me to the station? Yeah, jump in. How much? Don't worry about it. Whatever you give me, I'll be happy. He takes you. By the time you think, all right, $10 there. Nah, that's not enough. I need $20. And you come and you have an argument with him. Especially happens overseas a lot. You can't put the ticker, what's it called? The clock, the meter. No, it's not working, or whatever. He says, no, the meter, or I don't know, jims it up, or whatever. Or you say, just take me there, and then when he takes you, he sort of wants to make more money out of you. So you say, no. He says, when we get there, we'll talk about it. Or a relative, I want to buy this car. Khalas, try it out, and if you like it, keep it. How much? See if you want it first, and then when you decide you want it, we'll talk about the price. You go and you try it, whatever, and then you say, oh, it's good, inshallah. Okay, how much do you want for it? And then he, skyrockets, or you say, I thought it was about, let's say 10,000. No, it's 20,000. 15,000, whatever it is. And so be clear from the beginning what it is and how much it is. Okay, so both things have to be clear. The price has to be clear and the product has to be clear. So you have to know what you're getting yourself involved in before you make that commitment. Okay, and that's why we said that things have to be clear. It has to be clear what you're paying. You have to be clear what you're receiving. No.
The same with trade show?
Yeah.
And the tenant tells you
No.
price be agreed on before, or does that become a transaction?
Because this happens a lot. That they don't expect. Maybe they think it's only a couple of $100. Turns out a couple of $1,000s. I told them, look, there's this problem, and this is how much it's going to cost, depending on what you want. If you want a toilet different, qualities, but this and if you want this, then you have to say, well, how much it's going to cost. And you might make like this is if it's normal, but there could be problems where it requires extra work. It would be extra cost. It's very important to be clear from the beginning before you start any work. And that's why, as you know, with plumbers, the shifty ones, that's what they do. What they'll do, they'll start the job, and then they start to bring up problems and whatever, and the person just came for a leaky tap with change of washer, $10 washer, all right? And it ends up with a full bathroom renovation. Okay, and they do that on purpose, some of them. May Allah guide them. Some of them do that on purpose to make money off people. So be clear with people before you do any transaction. So the last thing, inshallah, we'll take is selling a product without clarifying a known defect. So if you know that something you have is a defect, you should show what that defect is. Who can give me an example of that? Right, so this is the most common one nowadays, selling a car and it's got a leak. So let's say it's got an oil leak. Okay, so what would he do? He wants to get rid of it, so he sells it and he doesn't tell the person, or he conceals it. He comes and he cleans it up, or sometimes they might put a certain product or something that gives it, like seals it for temporarily. All right? And then the person, look, there's no leak, whatever, tries it, and then after a couple of days that seal breaks or whatever, and then he said, look, you saw it. No. The Prophet ﷺ, this is a form of deception, selling a product without clarifying a known defect. Now let's say you didn't know that there was a problem with the car. Okay? And you sold it based on you didn't know, then there's no sin on you. But you knew there was a defect and you didn't clarify it, then you are sinful. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Man ghashana falaysa minna." Whoever deceives us is not from us. It is not permissible to conceal the defect of a product. Uqba ibn Amir said, I heard the Prophet ﷺ say, المسلم أخو المسلم لا يحل للمسلم باع من أخيه بيعا فيه عيب إلا بينه له. He said the Muslim is the brother of another Muslim. It is not permissible for a Muslim to sell his brother goods in which there is a defect without pointing that out to him. So if there is a defect, point it out, and the person, at least he buys with clarity, knowing that it's got these defects. Sometimes people, they know it's a defect and they're happy to, let's say for example, this car, for example, it doesn't leak oil, but like it burns oil. Okay, so it's not necessarily something bad, but it just means that you always have to probably top up the oil every so often, every month or so. So he's happy to do that. Or for example, it's got a bump or a scratch or something. It's not a big deal. To drive a car that has a bump or a scratch, but if he comes and he puts covers it up somehow or whatever, and he doesn't clarify, or for example, let's say the seat has a tear in it. It doesn't matter, if it has a tear, it's not going to affect really how I'm going to use the car. It's not important. So as long as he clarifies what it is, and then it's up to the person to accept to buy it like that. Or let's say it's got a problem, mechanical problem, he's happy to buy it, and then he'll go and fix it. He said, at least I know what it is, I'll fix it, and then won't be an issue anymore. Okay, so we'll stop here inshallah. As I said, the issue of financial or business transactions, a lot of things that Muslims unfortunately fall into, and they don't know. Buying things or investing in things that they don't know. There was a big actually problem in our community, especially among the Lebanese community, where someone's supposedly invested in a business, and he asked his brother, "What's this business?" He said, "I don't know." Someone's investing in something and it makes a lot of money. That's all I know. All I want is the money. What's this brother investing in? Maybe he's investing in something haram, or that's up to him. That's on his neck. No, if you're investing, then you carry as well the sin. Maybe he's investing in something haram. And it turns out it was a big Ponzi scheme and people lost millions of dollars. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik. No.